God has placed all delusion in the form of ego within us. But we think Maya exists elsewhere and search for it in other worlds, laying aside our ego.
Valmiki Maharishi said in the Ramayana that God has put the entire delusion of the world in money.
That which is ever-changing is Maya. Decide whether you want the never-changing self or the ever-changing world.
There is no difference between the images on a cinema screen and us. Our lives are not real. They are deluded or equivalent to a dream.
There is no other Maya equivalent to your mind. It inspires you to know everything in the world but doesn't like finding its source.
Maya is under God's control, and we are under Maya's control. Until and unless we experience the bliss of the self, we are not free from our senses, and the Maya will not show us the path to jnana.
The wife, children, relatives, and friends accompanying us during this birth will change in the next birth. But God always accompanies us until we realize the truth. We neglect God, who will not leave us until our end, and grasp hold of temporary forms of delusion throughout our lives. What other Maya can exist apart from this?
Except for self, all other worlds are false. But we search for God not within our heart but in all the other worlds. God has created His permanent abode within our heart as self.
Everybody wants to know what happens to him after his death but doesn't attempt to grasp who he is right now. This is the most extraordinary Maya.
The happiness for which you are running after gods is within you only. But the Maya, in the form of ego, obstructs its experience.
The world visible to our eyes itself is a big Maya. This world, made up of the 5 elements, is equivalent to a dream. Isn't the dream a delusion? Will the dream ever become truth?
The mind, which accompanies you after death, is considered secondary, and the body, burnt in the burial ground, is considered primary. Isn't this Maya?
Mind is the source of all creation. But you will not understand this truth until you know the source of mind.
As you use a stick to prevent a dog from biting you, use your intellect or reason to transcend the Maya.
God does not bind you. Maya or mind binds you. You will not realize this truth as long as you lead a body-centric life. It is only due to your delusion that you consider the non-existent world as existing and the ever-present God as not existing.
This world existed before your birth and will exist even after your death. What is your relationship with the world? Everyone wants to reform it, but who has reformed it before your birth? And who will reform it after your death? Isn't this Maya?
Some people are delighted to look at the world. But how many devotees rejoice in viewing God? How is God revealed to him who is intoxicated by the world?
Miracles are Maya. They are equivalent to a dream. Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa asked us to look upon them as impurity or shit.
Maya gives path only to those who transcend dualities. Lord Krishna said in the Gita, "None can transcend my Maya." This is because he put the entire Maya in this egoistic I. But would anyone like to kill his own ego?
A farmer always thinks about his crop, a businessman about his business, a scientist about science, and a devotee about God. The thinker exists in all the cases. So what about this thinker? As long as the thinker exists, births are inevitable.
Did you think about the one who is your birth's cause? Have you ever attempted to learn about him who always asked you to learn about various things in the world? What happens to him in your deep sleep? If you can find his source, the self reveals itself.
द्वन्द्वादिसाक्षिरूपोऽहम् अचलोऽहं सनातनः सर्वसाक्षिस्वरूपोऽहम् अहमेवाहमव्ययः
Moksha implies release, but release from what? It is a release from ignorance. What is ignorance? Ego is ignorance. What is ego? The ego means the body consciousness. Therefore, everyone with body consciousness is bound. Liberation is only for those who are bound. Why does anyone who is not bound need freedom?
Moksha is not for the I, which is limited to the body. Moksha is getting rid of the I, which is limited to the body. The ego cannot have liberation. Getting rid of the ego is liberation.
Self is another name for liberation. You can never achieve liberation by doing something. You are in moksha only, even when you desire moksha. It is only the ignorance within you that separates you from moksha. When the ignorance vanishes, moksha is within you.
Many people believe that moksha is an object available in Kailasa or Vaikuntha. When will you know that you are already that self for which you are craving, and that self is within you here and now? Is it in this birth or at some other birth?
My dear friends, moksha must be achieved before the body's death, as nothing is achievable after the body perishes. Until we attain moksha, we keep getting these bodies and can never escape the vicious circle of births and deaths.
Moksha implies experiencing the self and abiding as the self. Moksha is not an object. It is the light that shines within our heart.
Siddhi is a synonym for moksha. He is a siddha purusha who experiences whatever is ready or present. But what is ever ready? It is the self. Atma Siddhi is the true Siddhi. All the other siddhis are dream stuff. Only the one with good thinking faculty attains Siddhi, by which even Jiva becomes Shiva.
Moksha must be thought of, understood, and experienced in this body and the world. You need not postpone it till death. Moksha is not achievable after death but is attainable when we are alive.
Only they, who utilize their body, mind, words, and deeds naturally and appropriately, can get rid of bondage. As long as I and mine exist within, Jiva cannot become God, and he can never understand the meaning or essence of moksha.
Everyone is within moksha. Man's true nature and ultimate goal is moksha alone. But, due to faulty thinking faculty, he is deluded that he is far away from moksha. Only the body consciousness and selfishness disassociate man from moksha.
Man cannot experience the eternal bliss due to his misdeeds and misconceptions. The eternal peace that emerges from moksha is as pure as the Ganges from heaven or Akasha Ganga. It has no impurities.
Nirvana is another name for moksha. It implies transcending the body consciousness.
प्रज्ञानघन एवाहम् विज्ञानघन एव च अकर्ताहम् अभोक्ताहम् अहमेवाहमव्ययः।